Hello and welcome back to Cinnamon Sanctuary. Today we are making chicken Alfredo pasta. If you are new, welcome to my channel. Stay tuned for more recipes and welcome back to my old subscribers. Hit the like button please and let's get cooking without further ado. In terms of the ingredients, we have 600 grams of skinless and boneless chicken thighs, and I just prefer this cut because it's a lot more juicy, but you can use chicken breast if you prefer. We'll also be using some chicken seasoning, black pepper, pink Himalayan salt, garlic powder, some paprika, some dried parsley, aromat all-purpose seasoning, some single cream, as well as half of an onion that has been sliced, and 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. All of the ingredients will be listed in the description box as usual. In terms of the pasta, we'll be using this lovely tagliatelle, which I think goes so well with Alfredo, but again, it's entirely up to you what type of pasta you would like to choose. I'm just going to go ahead and season my chicken, so I'm just going to go in with some chicken seasoning, my all-purpose seasoning, some salt, some pepper, as well as some dried parsley. I won't be using the paprika in the chicken because I'll be using that to season the sauce at a later point, so I'll just set that aside for now. So I'm just going in with the other main seasonings that I just listed, and the idea is to season the chicken and let it marinate whilst the pasta is cooking, at which point we can then go ahead and cook our chicken. I forgot to mention garlic powder as well, so I did put some garlic powder in my chicken, and now I'm just going to go ahead and mix it all together, wrap it in cling film and set it aside in the fridge to marinate for approximately, I think, 15 minutes, just the time for the pasta to cook. I've got some water boiling on the stove, to which I'm about to add some salt as well as a splash of olive oil to stop the pasta from sticking together, and then I'm just going to cook the pasta according to the packet's instructions. So I like my pasta to be al dente, I would say. I don't like it too mushy, so I cooked it for approximately 7 minutes, after which I then drained it and set aside to cook the sauce. The chicken can now be released from the fridge. I believe it's had enough time to marinate. So now we can go ahead and sear our chicken. So I just went and added a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil that I'm going to let warm up, so heat properly on medium to high heat. And I'm just adding the chicken pieces into the pot. And you want to ensure that your fire is on fairly, I would say, medium to high heat, because you want to make sure that your chicken is nicely seared. You want some color to go in there. And once one side is done, usually about 8 to 10 minutes later, you can go ahead and turn your chicken pieces. So the whole process takes approximately 12 to 15 minutes. So I ensured that the chicken pieces were thoroughly cooked, because they would be removed, but when they go back in, they wouldn't stay in the pot for too long. So you want to ensure that your chicken is very well cooked. Our chicken pieces are now ready to be removed, and this nice golden brown color is exactly what you want to achieve. I like a bit of color in my chicken. I think it's so important. It adds so much to the dish. So this is what you're looking for here. And I'm just going to set this aside and start on the sauce. So we're just going to use the same pot that we used to cook our chicken, and I added a cube of butter as well as the onions that we sliced earlier. So this is about half an onion just sliced up, and we're going to let this sweat in the butter for approximately 5 minutes, just enough time for them to become translucent. And things will move very quickly from here, so I'm just stirring the onions so that they are nicely cooked. And we are also going to add the garlic at this point. So I think I added the garlic about 5 minutes after the chicken, and the garlic will only need to stay in for a couple of minutes. You want to ensure that it doesn't burn up. And again, I'm just stirring everything up, and once the garlic and onions are nicely cooked and translucent and fragrant, I can then go ahead and add my cream. I'm using single cream for this recipe and I just emptied out the whole container, but do feel free to use double cream if you prefer. That is absolutely fine as well. And I'm just stirring this all up, and I'm going to rinse the container where the single cream was and just add a little bit of water to ensure that we don't waste anything. So I just added like 2 drops of water and rinsed it out, which I added back in, and we're just going to stir this and let the sauce thicken a little bit. So it will start thickening within approximately 2 to 3 minutes. At this point, I'm now going to add some extra seasoning. So I just went in with some paprika, some all-purpose seasoning, as well as some freshly ground black pepper. And it's up to you again at this point what you want to put in. This is just your final step in terms of seasoning, and you know, you would have to ensure that the sauce is seasoned accordingly. You could also skip this step if you prefer, because the chicken is very nicely seasoned anyway, but your girl loves to season her food, as you will know already. So yeah, silly me, I forgot to mention the Parmesan cheese as one of the ingredients earlier. It's one of the main players, so forgive me. But yes, we can now go ahead and add the Parmesan cheese. And in terms of the measurements, please don't worry, I'm going to add all of the measurements in the description box. So once the cheese has been added, you just stir this all in, and you can see that your sauce is becoming a little bit more thick. You don't want to leave it in for too long. So once the cheese has been added to the sauce, I think I'll only let it cook for a further 5 minutes, just enough time for it to thicken slightly further, at which point we can go ahead and add the drained pasta. So you can add in your drained pasta into the sauce. Make sure that your heat is on very, very low. Some people will at this point turn the heat off, but I like to keep it on just a little bit to make sure that everything heats together. And I added my pasta in, and I will just stir this all up. Once the sauce is incorporated into the pasta, you can now go ahead and add your chicken pieces, and do ensure when you add your chicken pieces that you also incorporate the juices that would have accumulated at the bottom of the bowl. Very important, that's where all the flavor is. So this is pretty much almost done. So I'm just adding in the chicken pieces, which I will incorporate into the pasta. We still have our heat on very low, and I'm just going to add this in and then add some parsley at the end of the cooking time, just to flavor the whole dish. I find that when you add some fresh herbs, especially parsley or basil, at the end of the cooking time, it adds so much flavor. Like the scent just changes almost instantly. It's amazing. So I love doing this. So I just went ahead and chopped about half a handful of fresh parsley, which I'm adding onto my dish. And this is pretty much the final result. Your chicken Alfredo tagliatelle is ready to be eaten. It's absolutely delicious. It's nice and creamy, and most importantly, it did not take long to make at all. This would have taken about 30 minutes to make. It's such a quick dish and so delicious. It's a winner on every single front. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, guys. And I know it's been a minute, but I'm back on track with regular uploads, and I hope to see you very soon on my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.